Hello and welcome to the Race to a Trillion video series. In this video series, we're going to review 9 different books. Briefly, we're not going to read the books into the videos. However, we will cover them and discuss some of their topics, and more than anything else, use them as the structure of the video series, and that will follow the leads of the books. And so, let's go over the 9 books. Book 1, Trillion Dollar Companies. Book 2, Race to a Trillion for an Individual. Book 3, COVID, Big Tech, and Trillions. Book 4, How Much is a Trillion? And Book 5, The Four Horsemen, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Book 6, Who Will Be the First Person Worth $1 Trillion? Book 7, Does Capitalism Make Sense? Book 8, Collective Wealth in the Corporate System. And Book 9, Quadrillion. The other thing that I want to do during this series is use Microsoft's AI software to answer questions. And here's an interesting kind of first off question just to show what a trillion really is. It's 1 followed by 12 zeros. It's a very, very high number. And a billion, of course, is 9 zeros. A quadrillion is 15. Quintillion, sextillion, septillion, octillion, nonillion, just decillion, 33 zeros. So, we're at a trillion now. And it seems like just yesterday there was just millionaires, and then suddenly there's billionaires. And I think the next hurdle and where the race to a trillion has not been achieved is the first individual will be worth $1 trillion. Where it has been achieved in August 2nd of 2018, we had a company with a market cap of over $1 trillion, and that company was Apple. So the race to a trillion was won by Apple in August 2nd of 2018, and then soon after by Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. So tech giants. These tech giants were the companies that did it. And it's interesting when you look at the 4 because they're all tech. However, they kind of had their own corners of the map or the globe or the country or whatever you want to think of it as. But Apple was consumer electronics, Amazon, internet shopping, and everything, the logistics and everything. Microsoft, the 90s with the personal computer and the software that they had was just really, really an incredible story, and something that should be focused on just by itself. And then Google with the search algorithm, and that story is just as incredible as well, and how much they were able to accomplish just by making the World Wide Web usable and great. And I think a lot of times that people don't remember that before Google, using the World Wide Web was not easy, and it was often varied results. And honestly, Google's algorithm made the World Wide Web manageable, and they reaped incredible profits from that. And it's a real testament to them that they were not only able to do it, but able to monetize it. And so it's just a great story for these 4 companies. And as we talk, we'll discuss just what each of these companies was able to do, etc. And here's a nice summary in the book. Apple was a front runner, iPhone, iPad, Mac computers, ecosystem like App Store, Apple Music, and iCloud. Then, of course, Microsoft Corporation, dominant player in technology and industry for decades with its Windows operating system. I still use Microsoft Word and have been using Microsoft Word my entire life. Office Suite and Azure, and now they're coming out with AI. And Microsoft runs a lot of the computers that we use every day. Amazon, e-commerce, cloud computing giant, Amazon Web Services is just a huge component of Amazon, and really one of the things that drove its market capitalization so well, and it's continuing. And one thing that should be really mentioned is that these four companies are by no means finished, or but they're by no means on the decline. And so they breached $1 trillion, and they are still going and completely dominant. And so then Alphabet, as we just discussed with the search algorithm, was just an unbelievable story. And it's just great to see them continue to move on. And they are the parent company to YouTube, which they would be great if they would spin that out, but if they keep it under the Alphabet um, umbrella, and it's they just don't feel compelled to spin it out. But wonderful companies, and I think it's interesting to think, going back in history, what companies or which companies that people thought would become the first trillion-dollar companies. And I don't think until the 1990s people would have ever even dreamed that it would have been tech companies. I'm sure people thought it would be oil companies or defense companies, etc. They would have never said, oh, it'll be the manufacturer of portable um, phones will be the company that breaches $1 trillion first. And I don't think that would have ever even come into somebody's mind. I do think it would have been a part of someone's mind in the 1990s. And the Microsoft and the personal computer drove GDP to levels that we just hadn't seen in this country. Really made sure that the U.S. stayed as the #1 economy in the world, and it just changed everything. The personal computer and Microsoft changed everything in the 90s, and then Apple brought those personal computers to our pockets with the iPhone. You have to remember that Alphabet and Google still play a large part in cellular phones or mobile phones as well, but I think it's really Apple that plays the dominant role in that, and it was their dominance in the iPhone that really allowed them to be the first $1 trillion company. And and just as a comparison, if we were to think back to the 90s when Apple and Microsoft were competing, there wasn't people thought of Apple as a niche, luxury computer maker versus the mainstream or the best computer. It was the PCs versus Apple, and Apple was more inclusive, etc. And it's just interesting that premium products and premium cellular phones became so dominant. And I think it's purely a testament to just outrageous function and ability. No one, I think, would ever have dreamt that the iPhone could be that small, carried in your pocket, and function better in some ways than your home PC or your home Apple computer. It's amazing feat of electronics. So that'll do it for book 1. Let's move on to book 2 in the next video. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully this will be a pleasant video series for you. And as I mentioned, the books will be available for sale at the bottom of the webpage. Thank you so much.